All right. I'm hoping, yeah, it's showing it's recording. I'm hoping that I can get this all down and where y'all can understand it, because this is kind of important. At least it is to me. Is back in the early days, is I did the Starlight and different hempcrete, that was really fireproof and all that. And this is basically for these people, same people. It's Forbes Park. It's here in Colorado. And what I'd like to do is provide them some relief. I went out there not maybe a couple weeks ago, and what it is, they got a real problem with burnt dead trees that are still standing. And the place is not like totally wasted. It's actually quite beautiful. There's a lot of land that's even for sale. That's where there is unburnt trees. It's like an oasis if you've never seen this place. I should take a video of it. It's crazy beautiful, and but but how to say it is they have like a lake and they got communities. They got all kinds of stuff. It's a gated community up there. It's right up in the Rocky Mountains. In what else to say? But this is to get rid of the fire hazard and then to also use hempcrete or hemp for mitigation for the erosion that's inevitable. Where the trees are burnt up, all that's left is a little meadow grass that's growing, um, not exactly conducive to soil erosion, the mitigation for the soil erosion. But that was part of my idea is to do hempcrete in this area because of the fireproofness of it, and that's what a part of this is. A part of this money is for a build for like whatever you want to call that, air bed and breakfast in a gated community kind of where whoever does this, it'll be like a partnership because I'd like to really get somebody into hempcrete that can pass it on, but it's not going to be cheap, y'all. I'll be just straight up and honest with you. Um, Now the project here that I'm asking for, and even if you're in the Forbes Park place and you happen upon this, is it's for the equipment that it's going to take to get rid of the fire hazard, and then for the people that are investors or people that have with timber up there, then it'll be sold back at $1 a board foot, and this will be solar kiln dried. Um, and so it's slightly better than anything you can buy at like Lowe's or Home Depot, where those are like vacuum. They pull the moisture out of the outside, but the inside's still pretty wet. Is what I'm saying. It'll rot pretty fast. Is if given the chance, it'll rot pretty fast. Is a solar kiln dry? It's considerably slower on a much smaller production scale. Even though this one would be fairly big, um, it would be small. It would be smaller in scale and slower. So it gives a better quality product. Is what I'm trying to get at. And what else do we got before I start talking just straight numbers? Okay, here's the reality of it. It's a $500,000 project, but that would include the price of a air bed and breakfast kind of a spec home there on the out in Forbes Park. Not a big one, just a footprint. I mean, unless you actually live there and you own land, because it is kind of pricey, is what I'm trying to say. But it would be for 400,000, just a little bit less than 400,000 in equipment, just a little bit less, or just right at 100,000 in capital, and that would be for the land and the hempcrete spec home or whatever you want to call it. Is the But now here's the list of and this is all used equipment except for the mill is brand new. The generator that would go with it would be brand new. The molder, and this makes anything that if you could buy knives for it, if you want tongue and groove, if you want lap and gap, if you want the molded round 2x6s that look perfect, like um, at, at Home Depot, this is the machine that does it right there. It's the kiln is basically is just a commercial greenhouse with containers just stacked end to end, and to provide the space is what I'm trying to get at. with the solar, and even though the mill has a generator, so it's not running all the time. The solar is to run. There's the line I'm looking for. The solar is to run the fans and the pumps and stuff like that for this kiln through the night. Firewood processor is, and then the grinder to get rid of, like, down to where you're going to compost this stuff. And but let's go through the prices. Skidder, I found a good John Deere, reasonably priced, 60 grand. If it could be brought out here for that, I would say it was sold. A self-loading truck, I found several that fit the 75,000. One even had a trailer, a Pinnacle hitch trailer behind it. And this is like two small, like a 911 or 914, the articulated forklift loaders from Caterpillar, 60 grand. The mill itself with the gen set is 125. The molder is 20. The kiln is 20. The solar is 20. Firewood processor is 20. I didn't get the name of that one, but it was a real decent one. I mean, it was like several rick a day, cord a day kind of processor. In this, the LT70 is 6,000 board foot a day running at full tilt. I don't want to run it at full tilt. I'm just trying to give you the specs, because this is basically y'all's equipment. I just want an LLC that says I run it, and this is the project, and it's going to be HempCrete, and that's the direction we're going to go, and we're going to use the proceeds from the sale of they got several million board foot of lumber that are standing dead, and it has to be taken down and processed. So that's what I'm trying to get at, is I don't want to get too far off track here, and I am way off track already. Oh, goodness sakes, y'all. Well, that's it in a nutshell. I'm just going to leave it at that, and we're going to call this one Forbes Park, the rehabilitation of Forbes Park, and the mitigation of erosion through the forest fire with hemp is hopefully what this whole project is going to be about. But here's what we need, whether it be a part of this number, but it has to be like not $5. I mean, it has to be like 50 grand, like 50,000 or more, kind of, to make an LLC. Less than 12 people, I think. Don't hold me to that. I'm thinking that's what it's, less than 12 people. So that's what we're limited to. So divide that up by 12 and that would be the cheapest one out. But I can't stress it enough. This is the machine. I've owned sawmills in Arkansas. I still own one with another man. I still kind of like partnership with two more. Is the mill, the molder, in for just a little bit more. I mean, not even 20 grand. I think like 15. You can get the molder that does the actual logs, the timbers. You know, if anybody's interested in that. I didn't put it on the list because that's kind of I don't know if anybody would be, really interested in it. I wouldn't say that you would want to use burnt timber to make it into the logs for your home. It would be fine for anything else, like shop sheds, anything like that. But it could be a little bit overwhelming if you made all the logs into the framework of your home or something like that. I'm just guessing. Don't know, y'all. I don't know how fast the fire went through. And that's the biggest critical part. I was a smoke diver in the fire department in Arkansas. I graduated Camden twice, the fire academy down there, and two different schools. It wasn't like I didn't make it and had to go back. But let's get back to this. I've owned skidders. I've owned all this equipment. At one time, I had a kiln. Not a kiln. Yes, I had a kiln too. But I had a cabinet shop. I'm sorry, y'all. I had a cabinet shop in a sawmill and everything. I still got, like I said, I got a circular saw back home. That's not what I want to buy. I want to buy a bandsaw so it can cut the smaller The circular saw I got is for like big diameter junk, big trees, big oak trees. And this would be much more efficient with a bandsaw mill, is what I'm trying to get at. But here we go. If you're looking for a place for a house in Forbes Park, if you live in Forbes Park, if you want to invest in something that deals with hempcrete, going down the line, right here, divide 512 divide 500 by 12, and that's what we're going to try to limit ourselves to. Now, if you big boy and you got 500 and you're the only one, you're the one, man. You're the boss. If you got that kind of money, we don't look no farther. It'll just be a simple partnership of use me and that's it. And like I said, I'm not long for this world, nor do I want anything from this world. I would just like to help these people. This is actually what I did that fireproofing all about, anyways, because the county lost 600 homes. This one place in Forbes Park lost 300 all by itself. And it's really a nice place. All right, check it out online, and if I can find links to it, I'll add it to this. And if I can't, I don't know if I can. And if I can't find any, just forgive me. But look it out. Look at Forbes Park. It's a really wonderful place. All right, and investment. And if you don't got this kind of money, pray for people that do, and pass this around until we come up. That's not even that much. We can pull this one off, is what I'm trying to get at. Especially with the resource that's there. We're talking several million board foot of standing dead trees that has to come down one way or the other. So this is a real business thing. So if you got money, give me a shout. Gmail me, at the mrglasecki at gmail.com. I think it's on the header of the YouTube. Just shoot me an email, or give me a direct message here, and I'll give you the email at the bottom. All right, talk to you then. Bye.